Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Earth Twister here, and we're doing a strange thing. We are going to be continuing our campaign that recently just ended with Nick Fury, but we're going to be taking Maria Hill through, and we're starting with M.O.D.O.K, which is where things really kind of went wrong for me in that campaign, because I made some pretty bad mistakes that changed the outcome of the campaign. So now we're just going to finish the setup here, and we're going to have Maria Hill come through and help maybe clean up the mess that Nick Fury left us in. So we have got our holding cell built out there, and we're going to reveal our first two adaptoid environments, and then we'll shuffle the player deck, and we'll start. So we get a flying upgrade and the Sarah Garza upgrade. Okay, so they gain elite, +1 attack and +1 scheme, overkill ranged, and insight 1 and aerial. Okay, it's a little intense. M.O.D.O.K is at 14 hit points. Maria Hill is at 9. Let's go ahead and shuffle the player deck, and we will then reveal our first hand, which hopefully is pretty good. I suppose we shall see. 1. Command team. 2. On the double. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we have got Life Model Decoy, Command Team, Dum Dum Dugan, on the double, ready any number of shield supports with a combined, okay, and another command team. So I think what we're going to do is mulligan everything except for Life Model Decoy and Special Funding. And then we're going to draw 4 more cards. We get All Points Bulletin, Shield Director, Organizational Support, and Nick Fury. All right. Interesting here. So, Shield Director. If we exhaust Shield Director, we get to place an all-purpose counter on a shield support. That could be really good. Life Model Decoy. Prevent all damage from an attack, which is a preparation and attack, so you would discard it. Um, let's see. Nick Fury would be good to have, but Shield Director is more consistent, stays out longer. I think what we're going to do is we're going to exhaust Maria Hill and search for the Pericles. There it is. We'll shuffle up. I'm going to use Special Funding, Life Model Decoy, Nick Fury, Organizational Support, and All Points Bulletin. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the Pericles. Now, where is it? Special Funding says after you spend this card to pay for a shield support, place 1 all-purpose counter on that support after it enters play. Okay? And then the organizational support has a resource on it, but it has the opportunity to generate me more resources. I don't have any allies or supports in play, so it only generates me the 1 resource. So we do get Pericles in play with 3 counters on it rather than just 2. There's those 3. We get to keep Shield Director in hand. I'm going to go ahead, and I forgot to flip this and put a threat on it. I'm going to spend 1 token from the Pericles. I'm going to give M.O.D.O.K a Confused. He is not fully confused, but he can take confused cards because he's steady. And we're going to stun the Adaptoid here. Then I'm going to go ahead and flip up. Our goal is to try and make sure that this never gets to 7 at all, because if it does, then we get another Adaptoid environment in play, and it only has 1 more opportunity to go up. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and flip up, ready, and draw. We get reinforcements. We get genius on the double. Front organization. That's 5, and that's all I can hold. Okay. So now threat goes up by 1. M.O.D.O.K attacks for 1. Just 1. Wow, that's a great place for an advance. So I take 1 damage, and the Adaptoid is stunned. All right. Then we get an encounter card, which is diplomatic immunity. Comes in with 3 threat. When revealed, place 1 acceleration token here for each aim minion in the victory display. There are no aim minions in the victory display. It just has an acceleration token, which is not great. And it comes to my turn. So I think the first thing we're going to do is use Genius, pay for Shield Director. We're going to exhaust Shield Director to place an all-purpose counter here on the Pericles. Then the Pericles is going to exhaust to put a Confused on M.O.D.O.K and another stun on, I think we'll do a Confuse here. Confuse on the Adaptoid because we may flip down. We'll play Front Organization. And then we're going to use on the double to play Reinforcements, which says choose any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. Place 1 all-purpose counter on each of those supports. So we're going to place an all-purpose counter here on the Pericles. And then I'm going to thwart 2 off of Diplomatic Immunity. And then flip down. And we'll ready and draw up to 6. So there's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we get the Cersei, which means with the Cersei, we can play allies for free. As long as, so it's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I can get enough resources the next turn. Okay. The threat goes up by 3. No, by 2, sorry. So that puts it at 4. M.O.D.O.K would scheme, but he's confused. The Adaptoid would scheme, but it's confused. We get an encounter card. Psionic Enhancement comes in with 4 threat. And it just is a boost icon. Okay. My turn. I'm going to exhaust Maria Hill to search for a shield support. And we'll grab a command team, I think. Yeah, because I don't want to lose everything else. Ooh. Wait. The Douglas removes 2 threat from each scheme in play. That would actually be really helpful right now. But then we also have the Bellerophon. Remove a missile counter. Exhaust the Bellerophon. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion. That could be really helpful too. Maybe it's just better to do, yeah, a command team for a resource, and then maybe we can hold on to, um, yeah, we should be okay, hopefully. All right, so we now have the ability to get Victoria Hand. So what we'll do, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resources for the Cersei. And I used an energy for 2 resources, 2 front organizations, and a command team. So the Cersei comes in with 2 deploy counters on it. And I'm going to go ahead and flip up. We'll have the Pericles trigger to stun the Adaptoid and M.O.D.O.K. M.O.D.O.K is not stunned fully. That's okay. The Shield Director will put a token here on the Cersei, and we'll spend it to put Victoria Hand into play. After Victoria Hand enters play, ready a shield support. So we'll ready the Pericles. And then the Pericles will trigger again. And actually, hold on. Before we do the Pericles, we'll hold on to the Pericles here. Victoria Hand is going to thwart 2 off of upgrading adaptoids. She'll take a consequential for that. That's okay. Then what I'll do now is trigger the Pericles to stun, to give Maria Hill a tough and Victoria Hand a tough. I think that's going to be good. And then we'll ready and draw up to 5. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good grief. We got so many things there. Threat goes up by 1, 2, because of that. M.O.D.O.K attacks for 1 plus a boost. 1, 2, 3. There goes our tough. Adaptoid is stunned. He did actually do 4 because of this, but that's okay. Then we get an encounter card, which is the focusing crystal. It's an acceleration token. Oh gosh. Okay. Now it's my turn. Really getting the Douglas in would be very helpful. Um, for the Iliad, I think the Douglas is going to be more helpful. Um, so organizational support. When you spend this card, exhaust up to 3 allies and/or supports you control. I don't have any allies in hand, so we'll exhaust this. It's 1, 2. We'll exhaust Victoria Hand, so it's 3. Then special funding makes it 5. And we'll do the Bellerophon to play the Douglas. Comes in with 3 operation counters. Gets a 4th because of the special funding. Then the Bellerophon, or the Douglas rather, is going to trigger. And it will remove 2 threat from each scheme in play. That defeats the diplomatic immunity. We will get the shield director to give it another. Well, we'll do the shield director to give the Pericles a token. And the Pericles will put a stunned on M.O.D.O.K and the Adaptoid. Maria Hill will fort 2 off of Psionic Enhancement, defeating that scheme. Okay, things are getting under control now, which is really nice. All right, so now we'll ready again and draw up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ooh, we got Slingshot. Threat again goes up by 2 because of that acceleration token. Well, M.O.D.O.K would attack, but he's stunned. Adaptoid would attack, but he's stunned. And we get an encounter card. Gang up. Oh no. So in hero form, the villain and each minion engaged with you attack. So Victoria Hand is not exhausted. M.O.D.O.K is going to attack for 1, 2. Victoria Hand will exhaust. So 1, 2, just 2. That takes off her tough. Adaptoid now attacks for 1 plus a boost. 1, 2, 3. And this card gains a boost icon for each A minion in the victory display. Again, there are no A minions in the victory display. So we take 3 damage, taking us from 8 down to 5. That is that. I did forget to put our 2 lock counters here on the holding cell. So let me go ahead and do that. I forget that I need to be working on those. That's how we win. The hard call, discard a shield support you control, deal X damage to an enemy where X is the printed cost. Super spies, slingshot. Okay. Um Getting the Iliad down would be really helpful, I think. Let's see. The Douglas is not as big of a deal, so I'm going to use organizational support. Spend one, two, three. So it's three resources. And I guess we'll use these as three more resources to pay for the Iliad. Comes in with three mission counters. And then I can deal 5 damage to an enemy, remove 4 threat from a scheme, or heal 3 damage from an identity. I think we're going to go ahead and we're just going to trigger this. Ooh. So this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to trigger this. And I'm going to trigger this too to put 3, another one on the Pericles and one there. So I'm triggering this to deal 5 damage to an enemy, which defeats the Adaptoid here. And then when this is defeated, remove 1 all-purpose counter from an environment. I think we're going to start by doing this holding cell. Okay. Now the Pericles is going to exhaust and remove a counter. We're going to have to use threat. Or remove a counter to put a stun or a tough on Maria and on Victoria. Okay. We're ready. Hold on. Did I do what I should have? This will go up to 6. He won't get an advance, so I think we're okay. So yeah, we're going to ready and draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Threat goes up by 2. So this goes up to 6. M.O.D.O.K will attack for 2 plus a boost. 4. That knocks off my tough. We get an encounter card of Psionic Blast. When revealed, take X indirect damage, where X is equal to M.O.D.O.K's scheme. Confuse each character that takes damage this way. So I take 4 damage and I get confused. Go down to 1. Oh, gosh. And I get confused. Okay. So that was the encounter card. I'm going to need to flip down and heal. Or I can use this to heal damage. Let's do... two physical resources. Remove a counter here from this holding cell. When the last lock counter is removed from here, flip this card and put Strong and Human into play under any player's control. Okay. Comes into play under my control and does not count against my ally limit. Has 7 health. This then does get 2 lock counters on it. 1, 2. Then the Douglas will remove 2 threat from here. We'll use 2 physical resources to pay for the Chief Tactical Officer to do 2 damage to M.O.D.O.K. Takes him down to 12. The Iliad will remove 4 threat from there. I will support to remove my confused. And I guess we'll flip down. We're going to use reinforcements to pay for support staff. Uses 3 staff counters. And we'll use one of them to pay for a wild resource to remove a lock counter. Because it says spend a wild resource or 3 resources of any type to remove a lock counter from there. So that was where we used that wild resource. Strong and Human does have toughness. So she's going to swing for 3 at M.O.D.O.K, taking him from 12 down to 9. And Victoria Hand is going to use her tough status card to do 1 damage to M.O.D.O.K also. Although I think, unless I'm mistaken, because of the retaliate, so he would retaliate, knock off her tough, then she'd take her consequential, which does defeat her. And I think she still gets a consequential. If I'm wrong about that, that'd be great, but I think the timing and everything like that triggers it that way. But what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to use the Pericles again to give Strong and Human another tough, and we'll throw a Confuse on M.O.D.O.K, which won't be helpful enough, but it's all right. Ready and draw. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 cards. To really hope that he doesn't get a 3 boost. Oh no. Shoot. Okay. We get an encounter card. I think we're gonna have this one pop on this time because we flipped down. So that's 4, 5, 6. Threat goes up by 2. M.O.D.O.K schemes for 3, 4, 5, and then I need to spend energy resources. So we got 1, 2 energy resources to prevent 2 from going up. So this one goes up by 1. So what was that? So it's 3, 4, 5. Oh no! Okay. So this pops. Put 1 random set aside adaptoid environment into play. So there's only 1 more time that can go up, and we remove all threat from there. And then each adaptoid minion in the discard pile gets shuffled into the encounter deck. And that was the only one in there. Okay. Then we get encounter cards. First one is Assault, which I'm an alter ego, so it surges into Monica Rappaccini. So that's going to be easy to deal with. And then Scientist Supreme. Okay, so those weren't bad encounter cards. I never drew the rest of my hand. Oh, no, I did. It was these 2. Okay. All right. I'm going to exhaust to heal for 3. Then I'll flip up. Shield Director is going to put a counter on Pericles. The Douglas won't do anything. Is there any reason to use the Cersei? Yeah, so Pericles will go ahead and throw another Confused here on M.O.D.O.K. So we can flip down. And who's going to be the worst? So this is Villainous. We'll go ahead and put a stun on Scientist Supreme, which then says Vulnerable, discard this character if it is stunned or confused. So he gets discarded because he got stunned. We have strong and human there. And we have 4 resources here that we'll use to pay for Melinda May. After Melinda May uses a basic power, look at the top card of the encounter deck. Okay. So Melinda May, if she attacks M.O.D.O.K, she will immediately be discarded. I'm going to go ahead and use support staff to generate a wild resource to remove the last lock counter from this holding cell, which gives us Sarah Garza. Now she has ranged, so she doesn't take damage from retaliate. So she will go ahead and attack for 2 on M.O.D.O.K, taking him down to 6. She gets a consequential. Then, see, the Iliad can deal 5 damage. She could deal damage there. And we just deal with, yeah, Rappaccini, that's fine. So the Iliad will exhaust to deal 5 damage to an enemy, so that's 5 to M.O.D.O.K, taking him down to 1. Then we do have 2 tokens here, 2 lock counters on that holding cell. Strong and Human will swing for 3 at M.O.D.O.K, defeating him. The Retaliate knocks off the Tough, so then she gets a response here. Okay. So once Force Interrupt, when M.O.D.O.K would be defeated, if a holding cell is in play, remove 2 lock counters from it and reset M.O.D.O.K's hit points to 14. So he goes back up to 14. And we get this ally in play, the Flying Inhuman. Then we get 2 more lock counters. We really need to be, we also need to keep these in mind here. M.O.D.O.K is confused, but that's not going to help. We've already done the Pericles. Melinda May still exists. Flying Inhuman can attack for 1. But there's no reason to attack Monica. Let's go ahead. We do get rid of the focusing crystal here. All right, let's ready and draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Threat goes up by 1 this time. Hallelujah. M.O.D.O.K attacks for 1 plus a boost. Melinda May will defend. So 1, 2, 3. She gets defeated. Then Monica attacks for 1. She does not have Villainous. I think the Flying Inhuman will defend, taking the 1. Okay. Get an encounter card, which is an Adaptoid minion. So it has +2 attack, the Brute trait, and Toughness. Has Overkill, Ranged, Aerial, and Insight 1. Okay. Let's do this. The Douglas is not going to be used. Could generate a mental from it. Or I could just do this. Yeah. We'll do 2 mental here to remove a token here and 2 threat here. Then I guess we can do 2 more mentals to remove a token here. I guess the Bellerophon will hang out. We'll do 2 physicals to remove a token here and do 2 damage to the Adaptoid. Shield Director is going to give a token here. I will use my reassignment to move one all-purpose counter from a shield support to another to get one on the Iliad. And Iliad will deal 5 damage to an enemy. Removes the Adaptoid. When defeated, remove one all-purpose counter from an environment. We'll go ahead and remove it here from the Chief Surveillance Officer. The Pericles will exhaust to give Maria Hill a tough and Monica Rasputin a stunned. She's vulnerable, so we discard the character if it is stunned or confused. Okay? Now, since he's fully confused, I will flip down and heal for 3. Puts me at 7. We have a physical and an energy. I can just chill. We'll discard everything but the Bellerophon, and we'll draw up to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do have Dum Dum Dugan, which is nice. Threat goes up by 1. M.O.D.O.K would scheme, but he's fully confused. We get an encounter card, which is Under Fire. Surge, reveal the top card of the encounter deck. So we get the Psionic Machetes. Attached to M.O.D.O.K. M.O.D.O.K's attacks gain piercing. That's wonderful. And he gets +1, so he attacks for 2. And then we get Psionic Blast and Alter Ego. I get confused, and M.O.D.O.K schemes. He's going to scheme for 3, 4, 5. He schemed for 5, and he gets shuffled back in. We almost just lost there. Okay. Let's see what we got. We can bring in Dum Dum Dugan for free with the Cersei. And then we can figure out how to get the Bellerophon in. I think that'll be good. Okay. I shouldn't be exhausted. I am going to exhaust to heal for 3, which really brings me back up to 9. Then I'll flip up. All of these are exhausted for no reason. The Cersei is going to bring in Dum Dum Dugan. Dum Dum Dugan. I'm going to use Dum Dum Dugan's basic powers, exhaust up to 3 shield cards I control. For each shield, uh, for each card exhausted this way, Dum Dum Dugan gets +1 power for that use. Okay. I'm just going to swing for 3 here at the, 3, 4. So, hold on. Let me think about this. We exhausted this to bring him in. The Flying Inhuman should not be exhausted. I need to be able to exhaust. So it generates 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I need to be able to exhaust 2 more to bring in the Bellerophon. So, yeah. Let's do 3, 4 to remove 4 from here. And then he takes 3 consequential damage for that. Then these 3 are going to generate 3 resources, 4 resources, 5 resources, and 6 resources to play for the Bellerophon. Comes in with 3 missile counters. Then the Bellerophon will spend and deal 3 damage to M.O.D.O.K. There's no minions, so it doesn't deal any damage to any minions. Um, I can deal 5, 8 more damage to him. The Shield Director is going to put a all-purpose counter there. We'll deal 5 damage to M.O.D.O.K, taking him from 11 down to 6. And that should be good for now. Yeah, we're ready. Okay, we'll drop to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Threat goes up by 1. M.O.D.O.K attacks for 2 plus a boost. We'll have Dum Dum Dugan defend. 3. He does 3 damage. He does not have overkill, just piercing. So there goes Dum Dum Dugan. Then we get an encounter card, aim interference, insight 1. And then I can spend a physical resource. Let's see. I can spend. Yeah, we'll do a physical resource here to prevent the one going there. Then we get 1 there and 1 there. That was our encounter card. Now, Shield Director will put a token here. Then Maria Hill's action will move a token eventually. What do I want to do first? Yeah, we'll do special funding to pay for all points bulletin. For each shield support I control, I can either remove a threat from a scheme or so I could do 1 for each shield support. So this is shield. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll do for each shield support I choose. I'm going to do 3 damage there and 3 threat removal. Man, that's a great card. Okay. And then I'm going to use the Cersei to generate enough to bring in Nick Fury. Nick Fury will fort 2 and take an consequential, then put an all-purpose counter on a support. And we'll put that on Pericles. And now the Bellerophon will exhaust to deal 3 more damage to M.O.D.O.K, defeating him there. When M.O.D.O.K would be defeated, if a holding cell is in play, remove 2 lock counters from it and reset M.O.D.O.K to 14. He goes back up to 14, and all we have to do is defeat him 1 more time. We get the Psionic and Human into play, and this gets discarded. Then I think we can move 1 still if we want. We could use the Iliad, so I think at this point we use our action to move a counter from the Pericles to the Iliad. Then we see what we can do because I do have slingshot. Do I want to try and get another thing removed there? How much damage can I do anyway? So 3, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I can get him almost gone. So let's wait one more round. We'll ready because I think once we ready, we can definitely win. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Threat goes up by 1. M.O.D.O.K attacks for 1, 2, 3. And then he gets shuffled back in. My tough comes off. We get an encounter card, Nanobots. Attached to M.O.D.O.K. After M.O.D.O.K activates, heal 1 damage from him. Okay, not bad. Great. So now what we want to do is we'll spend 2 mental resources to trigger the Chief Surveillance Officer and remove that threat. 2 energy resources to trigger the Chief Medical Officer and heal Nick Fury 1. Nick Fury will attack for 2 on M.O.D.O.K, taking him down to 12. And when he does, he puts a counter here, but he also gets defeated. Bellerophon will trigger to do 3 damage, taking him down to 9. Iliad will trigger to do 5 damage, taking him down to 4. Strong Inhuman will attack for 3 and take 3. 1 consequential and 2 retaliate. And Sarah Garza will attack with ranged, dealing the final damage and defeating M.O.D.O.K, hopefully correctly this time. If I did anything wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But I think once you start getting everything set out with the supports, you're kind of unbeatable as Maria Hill. She's so strong. This was a lot of fun. The confused card didn't really matter at some point. I think I really wish that had been able to prevent that one environment from coming in, but I think that's fine. We do have the Strong, the Flying, and the Garza, Sarah Garza upgrades in, but we did clear one environment so we can get um, another evidence. So yeah, we should hopefully be on our way to actually winning the rest of this campaign. Um, Speaking of the evidence, let's go ahead and see which one we get. Here's the shield, and we get the security clearance. Okay, so I will have to go back through and erase all of this and figure out how to get this to look right. I may have to print something else off, but we will know hopefully by the time we play Baron Zemo what happens. That's M.O.D.O.K. Maria Hill against M.O.D.O.K. I used her precon, which actually is pretty good. I think there's definitely a few things that you can change that might make it a little bit better. I never had any desire to use a command team because there was no need for it. I was able to use them as resources more than anything else, but I didn't need to ready any allies, and things just sort of worked smoothly as Maria Hill. I don't know what other supports I would include in with her deck, except for maybe a helicarrier. But definitely the Douglas, the Cersei, the Bellerophon, and the Iliad, oh, and the Pericles. Those are really overpowered supports, especially if you're able to get them out and down. They're definitely really helpful. See you guys in the next one.